What's going on, you guys? It's your Huggable Hipster here, and welcome back to another review. So for today's review, we're going to be going into Coffee Talk, and I'm very excited about this review. This opinion piece that I wrote was, I have to say, like, one of my favorites that I've ever written. It's short, sweet, to the point. If you guys want to see the written version of it, it'll be down in the description below for your viewing pleasure. I'm really excited to get your feedback on this, so let's get into the review. A soft aesthetic, a refreshing cup of coffee, and stories that create a lasting bond. Coffee Talk is a deep dive into the many stories of the coffee house. Coffee Talk takes a deep dive into the many stories of the coffee house dwellers, some sweet, some chaotic, all impactful. So Coffee Talk is basically this game where you are a barista. You are there serving drinks to the locals at midnight, but what you don't know is that a lot of these locals are a little, well, less than human. You are actually a barista serving monsters. Like, that's you're serving vampires and werewolves and succubi and elves. It is a coffee consumer's dream come true. Coffee Talk, most importantly, is a game that shows the player that you can have a game that speaks volumes when you have a great writing team. When you have a great writing team that puts the story as the priority instead of mechanics or controls, you have something special. Now, I'm not saying that mechanics and controls are not important. What I'm saying is, without a story, you don't have the main device for the game. The story is what drives the game to be something that creates a valuable and impactful message for the player. It's something where you give the player an experience and something that they will remember for a lifetime. When we play a game, we want to feel emotionally connected. I want to be able to feel like I can reach out and just be able to touch the characters with my emotions. That sounds so awkward, but it's so true. Imagine that being a pickup line. Oh, hey, what's going on, baby? I want to touch you with my emotions. Coffee Talk makes a world of monsters very human in the fact that they all have stories. They all are being put in the front line, so to speak, of a very human role of having real world problems, losing their jobs, being made as kind of the outcasts who have to find their way in society. And also, they make this game a very human experience by putting race as one of the main driving themes of the game, which this actually does the theme justice. This entire game shows and portrays racism in a way that educates the player instead of some games where they use it as a chance to belittle or mock or put down. This game actually takes a chance and the opportunity to show that racism isn't okay. You know, racism is a big problem, and this game shows that. While, of course, making the game interesting and personable and something that the player can digest, it handles the topic with grace and elegancy. They also make the story of the individual a connecting factor as well, where you bring strangers in a coffee shop together who have very different stories, but throughout all of their stories, they all come together as one, and I think that's really stunning. So much of the story is very rich, vibrant, and it felt almost as if, you know, you could form a friendship with these characters. Like for Freya, for example, you know, I felt like I could be there with her, you know, writing at the table. Or Rachel, you know, you could just be there and have a cup of milk with her, you know. It's very interesting the way that the developers designed these characters to be so personable and so, you know, so realistic. At one point I was like, oh, I wish I could, like, you know, sit down, have a chat with Georgie and get some of his sarcastic advice. You know, it's kind of like that. When you know that you've made the characters human and approachable, that's when you have a home run. Honestly, I feel as if the character Georgie is one that you could just sit down and get life advice from, you know, have a cup of joe with, and just relax and chill and shoot the breeze. It's really interesting the way that these characters are done. They're so different, they're three-dimensional, and they have life to them, which, saying for a video game is kind of silly when we're really thinking about it, because it's a video game, it's a 2D character, but it's written in such a way that gives meaning and gives purpose to all of these characters. These characters in the stories are relatable in the sense of where it shows the wit, it shows the sarcasm, it shows the overarching main storyline, if you will, of Bailey and Lua, how they have to get permission from their parents to date because Bailey is an elf and Lua is a succubus. And she just, apparently her family does not like elves and the elves do not like succubus for some reason. Now both Bailey and Lua actually, since they are in a relationship during the game, you see that they want to introduce the other to their families, and they are afraid that the families won't accept them because they are of different races, classes. Art imitates life in this sense of where you see this happening all the time, whether it be that the parents don't like the significant other because of their job or because of their race or because of, their background, their family, whatever it is. This is imitating things that happen in life. This game, I felt like there wasn't really anything to sugarcoat. There wasn't anything that I felt wasn't actually something that could happen. While the characters, yes, there are vampires, there are werewolves and succubi in this game, there are circumstances and things that happen to these characters that aren't too far off. Actually, they're not far off at all. For example, Freya, when she loses her job in the game, there wasn't some mystical, magical magicianry that was going on where you pull out the game magic and all of a sudden she gets her job back. That's not the way it works. I know in a lot of stories the writers like to put a happy ending and oh my god, she has her job back and she got a raise and she has a boyfriend and she does, oh my god, she's succeeding. No, life doesn't always work out like that, and it's playing on what life actually is, and there's consequences that happen in life according to one's actions. This wasn't a fairy tale scenario, it was an actual thing, and I love the fact that they implemented reality into a game. It was portraying life where we don't always get what we want. We don't always get that thing that we so desire, but we get what we need, and I believe that's a song. Another instance of reality entering this game is the discussion of crunch time within the gaming industry. There's a game called Full Metal Conflict, which I think it's absolutely hilarious because there is a Japanese anime called Full Metal Alchemist, and I believe that's where they took the game name from. Please correct me if I am wrong down in the comments below. But I love the fact that they're taking the reality of crunch time, and they have a character called Myrtle, and she's discussing how she doesn't get much vacation time and such. This game does not sugarcoat anything. It goes in, it talks about everything from race to K-pop in the music industry, where, how the artists are treated by not only their fans, but their managers, and how to communicate with other people in a social setting in regards to Neil, how he's from a different planet. And it's so fascinating the way that they incorporated all of these vast topics in a game that you could probably finish within, I would say, a day or two. So let's end on a calm vibe, a barista there to heal the broken soul, and monsters with an undeniable humanity. Coffee Talk brings to life all of the societal issues that I've mentioned and quite possibly more. Brings to light societal issues, it brings out more of the worries of the heart, and this game was it was so incredibly soothing. It was one of those games that I just sat there, the music was relaxing, the vibe, the ambiance. It wasn't just that it conveyed a message, it made me feel genuinely calm. And you guys remember when I talked about Cozy Grove, that game, that I haven't found a game that actually made me feel like I could relax in a very long time. This is another game that is very relaxing. So if you guys want something cozy, if you guys want something really chill to relax to, that has a really great meaning, I would highly recommend getting Coffee Talk. That's it for this review. If you guys like my face and what I do, please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell down below because I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And as usual, stay casually nerdy. I will see you all in the next video. Bye, you guys.